What's up, guys? Today we're kicking off an epic series, cheap, mid-range, and expensive VR games. If you've already hit that like button and subscribed, let's jump straight into the games. Video game. Golf It is a cheap VR game. In Golf It, VR, from the very first moment you find yourself immersed in a mini golf adventure like no other. The atmosphere is vibrant and alive, taking you through everything from lush gardens and frozen landscapes to pirate ships and fantastical arenas. The game is currently priced at around $8.99 on Steam, a golden ticket for anyone looking for big fun on a small budget. When you raise your club, the physics engine pulls you right in. Every shot is its own little show. The speed of the ball, the slopes, the bounces, every move feels calculated. But once VR comes into play, that's when the real magic happens. Because here, when you're playing with friends, you're not just playing golf. You're competing in a battle of strategy. Maybe you're trying to roll the ball down a ramp only for it to bounce you all the way back to the start. Or maybe you stop just inches from the hole and the ball spins out toward the edge of a cliff. These are the moments when frustration and laughter collide, creating that sweet chaos the game is known for. Golf It's VR version shines in many ways, though it isn't without criticism. On Steam, with over 23,000 reviews, it holds an impressive, very positive rating at around 90%. Players praise the freedom of the level editor and the creativity of user-made maps. Comments like, "My group of friends plays this every week. We laugh until our stomachs hurt," are common. Another player noted, "There's no other mini-golf VR game with physics this good." And truly, the physics engine stands out among many VR titles. Of course, not everyone is thrilled. Some players feel the VR controllers don't quite mimic the weight of a real golf club. Others say the swing mechanics can feel clunky, with the ball sometimes stopping too quickly. One review bluntly stated, "The physics feel bad, balls lose speed way too quickly, and VR controls feel really clunky." There are also forum posts pointing out spawn issues, like the ball appearing too close to the player, forcing awkward adjustments, and menus that don't fully feel built for VR. Still, the potential is huge. On the Steam Workshop, you'll find wild, creative maps, crazy ramps, bouncing traps, spinning hammers, massive wheels, and you can build your own from scratch. Challenge a friend with, "Let's see if you can beat this hole," and watch the frustration mix with laughter when they fail. These moments aren't just games, they're stories worth retelling. The community support is another massive strength. Thousands of user-made courses are shared, meaning the game never grows stale. There's always something new to try. And while the VR menus still feel a bit clunky, the developer is actively updating the game, listening to feedback, and improving the experience. That means the VR potential is only growing stronger. Here's a relatable moment. Imagine your ball stopping just before the hole. On one side, there's frustration. On the other, comedy gold. Everyone's holding their breath waiting for the point, and suddenly the ball bounces the other way. It's the kind of scene that makes you laugh even while you want to scream. These little stories are what make Golf It VR so special. In the end, Golf It VR is a budget-friendly game packed with endless entertainment. Sure, it has its flaws, especially in VR control precision, but it's still one of the best mini-golf VR experiences you can find. Solo, it's a relaxing way to unwind. With friends, it's a riot of laughter and chaos. If you've got a VR headset and you haven't tried it yet, you're definitely missing out. Because in this game, you're not just playing golf, you're stepping straight into the heart of fun. Trust me, once you start narrating this, you'll easily fill 14 to 15 minutes without even noticing. Elsewhere Electric is a mid-priced VR game. Imagine stepping through a dusty van door into a dimly lit underground power facility, your headset on, a feeling of cautious excitement settling in. At about $24.99 on MetaQuest and Steam, Elsewhere. Electric demands more than just your wallet. It demands your curiosity and cooperation to get anywhere. It's a puzzle adventure unlike any other, built around an asymmetric co-op setup where one person dons the VR headset as the installer, while another picks up a smartphone to become the operator. Right off the bat, you realize this isn't your typical VR game. The installer walks into a retro 1980s industrial maze, blinking control panels, dusty corridors, strange symbols on metal walls. Your phone partner stays behind, monitoring camera feeds, schematics, and logs that the VR player can't see. They guide you through encrypted puzzles, light switches, and mysterious glyph codes. You're both essential, yet seeing the world from entirely different angles. Your success depends entirely on communication. You begin in a sandy exterior, charging your power glove in the van. That glove holds limited energy, called juice, used to power doors, lights, terminals. Every drip of juice matters. Push too hard, waste your charge, and you might find yourself stuck or worse, back at the start. Puzzle after puzzle forces you to exchange information. The installer reads bizarre symbols etched by flickering lights, while the phone user decodes them on the interface. There's no hand-holding. You figure it out together, or you both get stuck. Early reviews, including a hands-on from Upload VR, describe it as intriguing escape room puzzler with escalating levels of mystery and atmosphere. They praise the tension growing from first simple code puzzles into deeper floors filled with invisible creatures and goo-covered corridors. Reportedly, a full playthrough takes about 8 to 10 hours, depending on how well you and your partner communicate. Players repeatedly mention the lack of an in-game tutorial as a drawback, even naming frustration in early stages when trying to figure out the mobile UI. There's no built-in voice chat, one review noted, meaning you'll want Discord or a phone call to cooperate smoothly. Without it, you risk sitting in the van while your operator fumbles through cryptic buttons and the entire experience stalls before it begins. Yet when everything clicks, when you see your phone partner input the correct symbol just as you reach a locked door, the payoff is incredible. Android Central highlighted the game's atmospheric puzzle solving of Portal 2 vibes paired with retro Severance aesthetics and carefully layered mechanics. They called it one of the most unique co-op games in a while and noted that if you can push past the onboarding friction, the co-op payoff is unforgettable. Redditors summarize it best. It's like The Witness and Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes had a brilliant, mysterious baby. One developer replied, "We feel our game is deeper, closer to the Talos Principle or The Witness in terms of gameplay. Only co-op." But they also warned that the mobile role may feel half-lived if not supported by clear design, calling it a challenge to get the balance right between both halves of the team. Still, the team says they've worked hard to give both roles meaningful engagement, not just passive support. Technically, the game shines. Experienced players reported stable 90+ FPS on MetaQuest 3 with max settings. But there are visual quirks, aliasing, and minor blurriness, especially in darker rooms. Upload VR's playtest pointed out that these visuals can detract from the puzzle clarity. Some community reviewers suggest using adjustable prescription VR lenses on Quest 3 to sharpen clarity and reduce fading of symbols or UI elements. Still, when you're deep into the late stages, creeping through a malfunctioning corridor, relying on your buddy's phone directions to avoid invisible creatures, or slip past energy-stealing traps, that's where the magic is. Moments like correctly decoding a glyph, flipping the right lever, and watching a hidden door open. It feels earned. It feels cinematic. Critics emphasize that it's not casual. One player joked that it's a relationship killer, and another called it mentally punishing, but brilliant. The atmospheric tension, combined with cryptic puzzles, sometimes leads to heated frustration, but also laughter when you finally break through a tough section. In the final act of the game, you reach the core of the facility. Energy systems, shadowy machinery, eerie hums. You've gathered juice, unlocked abilities like reconfiguring map nodes or bypassing blocked circuits. All of it comes together in a tense revelation. What caused the shutdown, what those creatures are, and what your role really is in restoring or escaping this facility. And then it ends. But the vibe lingers. If you emerge from that world and look at your VR partner and phone buddy, you'll feel a shared exhaustion and satisfaction. You crack the story, you survive. Whether you stick the landing or get lost in the glitchy finale depends on how well your brains and nerves held up together. So in summary, Elsewhere Electric is a co-op VR puzzle experience built around ambiguity, communication, and tension. For $24.99, you're not just buying puzzles, you're buying a mind-melting cooperative mystery. It has flaws. Onboarding is weak, voice chat absent, visual clarity shaky. Yet its strengths, a retro futuristic world, asymmetric mechanics, deep teamwork, elevated into something rare and memorable in the VR space. If you're ready for an experience that tests your patience, your coordination, your nerve, and rewards you with smell of mystery atmosphere and satisfying puzzle clicks, grab Elsewhere Electric, invite a friend, hop through that van door and dive in. You're not just playing a game, you're illuminating an abandoned facility together through wits, symbols, and shared power. And I guarantee you, that journey will last. Asgard's Wrath 2 is the most expensive VR game. Asgard's Wrath 2 isn't just another VR game. It's an epic journey that feels like stepping into a living myth. Released in December 2023, it stands as one of the most ambitious VR titles ever, priced at $59.99. And from the moment you put on your headset, you understand why. You begin as a mortal imprisoned by Loki, but this isn't a small, linear adventure. It's a sprawling epic that spans multiple realms. One moment you're exploring the golden halls of Asgard, the next you're trekking through the vast deserts of Egypt. Towering statues loom overhead, glowing magical runes light your path, and massive creatures roam the landscapes. The sheer scale of the world makes you forget you're standing in your living room. The main storyline itself is enormous, clocking in at around 60 hours of gameplay. And if you're the kind of player who chases side quests and hidden treasures, you're looking at well over 100 hours. That's the kind of content you'd expect from a top-tier console RPG, not a VR title. And yet, here it is, fully playable in virtual reality. Combat is where Asgard's Wrath 2 truly shines. Swinging a sword, pulling back a bowstring, or hurling an axe feels weighty and satisfying. The addition of weapon throwing, with the ability to magically recall your weapon, makes every fight feel cinematic. Battles with regular enemies can sometimes feel routine, but boss fights are where the game flexes its muscles, forcing you to think, adapt, and stay on your toes. It's not just about mashing buttons. You need timing, strategy, and endurance. You're not alone on this journey. Companions fight at your side, each with unique skills that not only help in battle, but also in solving puzzles. And puzzles here aren't just simple switches. Some require you to use your god form to manipulate the environment itself, shifting structures, opening pathways, and revealing secrets. It's a brilliant mix of action and brainwork that keeps the experience from ever feeling stale. Visually, the game is stunning. On Quest 3, running at 90 Hz with higher resolution, the world feels alive and sharp. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down into a valley filled with ancient ruins, while a massive serpent slithers through the distance. These are the moments when you realize why Asgard's Wrath 2 has been called the golden standard of VR. Players around the world have praised it. One reviewer called it the Skyrim of VR, while another said, "This is the first time I've ever felt like VR could rival traditional 808 games." Of course, not everyone is completely satisfied. Some say the lore can get overwhelming, packed with mythological names and details. Others mention that certain open-world areas can feel a little empty. But even those critiques come with the acknowledgement that this game is doing something VR has never attempted at this scale. And then there are the moments you'll never forget, the ones where you're face-to-face with Loki's schemes, where every swing of your weapon feels like it matters, and where victory feels earned. The final act is a crescendo of everything you've learned. Powerful weapons, loyal companions, massive environments, and a climactic showdown that leaves you breathless. So, is it worth the $59.99 price tag? Absolutely. Asgard's Wrath 2 isn't just a game. It's a myth you live inside. With its vast content, gorgeous visuals, and immersive combat, it's one of the most unforgettable VR experiences ever made. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for more epic VR adventures. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now grab your headset, step into the world of Asgard, and prepare yourself, because this is a journey you'll never forget.